Hello and welcome to the Mind Renovation Nation show, brought to you by Red Maples, your go-to source for institutional style property management of small multifamily rentals. I am your host, Nathan Bush, and each show we share real life lessons from our real estate experience. We invite industry experts, innovators, influencers to delve into the challenges and opportunities facing small multifamily real estate investors, from seeking opportunities for growth and expansion to market research to implementing effective management systems and maximizing returns and minimizing expenses, guys. We're here to help you, the real estate investor, gain the knowledge to compete in the current marketplace. So let's get started. Today's topic, if you can't tell by my screen already, is we're going to be talking about the money mindset again. See, this is a topic that's near and dear to everybody's heart. You have been asking me to continue on this concept of the money mindset. A number of you have reached out to me and said, "Hey, Nathan, I'd really like to know a little bit more in depth about the money mindset." And so we've been exploring this concept of the money mindset. And I got to ask you this question. This is what we've been asking each and every week now. Do you have a money mindset? If you have a money mindset, throw into the comments, what is your money mindset? What is your money mindset? I see you, Travis. I'm ready to get started with you too. What is a money mindset? Do you have one? What's your money mindset? What are some thoughts that you have around money that are helping to propel you and move you forward? See, we want to have a positive money mindset, not a negative money mindset. And we're going to spend some time today talking about how do we cultivate that positive money mindset? How do we put ourselves in a place where our mindset is correct so that we can receive some of the blessings that are supposed to be coming our way? If you're joining in right now, I see some of you that are just hopping into the live cast. Put what is your current money mindset? Put your state of money mindset in the comments. It's cool when we share as a community. It helps us to be able to grow and to nurture and to aspire. Dennis has to say this. He says, using your gap scorecard is very helpful. So Dennis has been using, I have on my website a scorecard that helps you to be able to navigate and manage your finances. I think it's like $1.99 on nathanbushmba.com. So you can go check that out at the store there. Yeah, using the scorecard has been helpful for Dennis. All right, guys, what is your money mindset? Do you have a money mindset? I know that we have dynamic market conditions, rapid changes in technology that's happening, increased competition. We have to figure out how to sustain our wealth building. These are all things that are current challenges right now. I know stress and mental health for some people, social and environmental impacts, regulatory changes that go on in the real estate market. And so you got to have your mindset right about money in order to be able to navigate and deal with many of these things that our market is currently facing and the challenges that we're currently facing. And, each and every week, I talk to you about some of the challenges you might be facing, things that you might be having difficulty with. And maybe this is you right here. Maybe you just are not good with numbers. Well, that's a cool thing. Just like the last 2 weeks, you don't have to be good with numbers to understand this show today. I've got a lot of information to jam pack into this show today. I got a lot of information I want to go over with you to help you get your mindset right about money. And you don't have to be good with numbers to understand the concepts here. Dennis has to say, my money mindset is currently tracking and looking for ways to double my income, double my savings, and double my investments. That's a great concept there, Dennis. And if you go back and you watch the show that I did on the wealth ladder, you'll understand to double his savings, double his income, and double his investments. So I highly recommend that you guys go back and watch that show. So you don't have to be good with numbers in order to have a money mindset. Here's also the truth. You might not have time for your finances. Well, if you don't have time for your finances, like I said last week and the week before, like this show is then the most appropriate thing for you because it's going to help you to get your mindset correct around money so that you don't have to spend a lot of time doing this and understanding how to get your finances in order and get your house in order. Or maybe this is you. Maybe this is you. Money is not everything. Well, I did say last week and the week before, it's not everything. And I totally agree with that. It is kind of relatively close to oxygen, though, and air. And just like air, if our money's not right, just like air, if we don't have the intake of air that we need, we can't breathe. Money kind of does that to us financially, and then that starts to mess with our mentality and starts to mess with the rest of our life. So it becomes real difficult if you don't have your mindset correct around money in order to be able to move forward and progress in your finances. And so we want to make sure that we understand that money is not everything, but it is important to get correct. And if you can get your money correct, then the cool thing is kind of the rest of the stuff tends to fall in place. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what those things are that need to fall in place. So we talked last week, and I've been showing this roadmap for you each and every week as we walk through the money mindset. And here it is. So these are all of the different mindsets that you need to get right in order to have an appropriate mindset. And so week one, we talked about abundance versus scarcity. Do you guys remember how important it is to make sure that you have an abundance mindset versus having a scarcity mindset? It is okay that even if your money's not right, to still have an abundance mindset. You got to make the shift. See, a number of years ago, I was real broke, not like kind of broke, but like real broke. So broke to the point where uh, I had to wash my hands in the bathroom with hand sanitizer because my water had been shut off. Now, that was a number of years ago, and over a long period of time and a bunch of study, I've been able to fix a number of issues financially within myself. And I can't tell you that in my household, I am the one that sits down and physically writes the checks out. That's not the way that it works, guys. But you got to have your money mindset right so that you know and can have the discussions even with your significant other about how to handle your finances, about what decisions you're going to make, and about why you're making those decisions. In so many families, so many people in this world, they struggle around the concept of money. There's so many arguments that I have heard over my lifetime of family members who get into this argument over money because they live in this scarcity mindset. Like, one of the things I told my wife a long time ago is buy whatever you want. Go on whatever vacation that you want. There's no limitation to whatever you want to do. I don't care. If it's something you want, then let's go do it. Now, there's a aspect of how are we going to fund it, right? But that's a responsibility that we can work on together. But what is it that she wants? What is it that she wants to do that I can do together with her and help her achieve and aspire and help her hit her goals that she has in her lifetime? She wants to go on that vacation. She wants to buy that bag. She wants to get a new pair of shoes. Heck, she wants to save for retirement. Heck, she wants to buy another piece of rental property. What are those goals that she has that I can help her hit? So remember, it's so important that we have the right mindset about money and that our mindset is correct and that it's abundant versus scarce. The second thing we talked about is investment over expense. It depends on when you're going to make a purchase, right? You're going to buy things. And we talked about the importance of looking at what am I personally, when I spend money, not anybody else in my life, just me. When I make a purchase, am I making a purchase that's a liability that's going to cost me? Or am I making a purchase that's going to benefit me in some way, shape, or form and move me forward towards my goals? And so we looked at that. We also looked at the concept of money as a tool. We talked about how the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And you just have to understand that it's not achieving a money mindset that's evil. It's the love of money can lead to all different kinds of evil. People will do all kinds of stupid things in the name of money. And so we just have to get this concept right that money's a tool to be used. We also talked about the importance of financial literacy and how important it is to study financial literacy. What is the right things to do with my money so that you have an awareness, you have a conscious awareness of those things that are important. We talked about values aligned spending already. We talked about, I put my money where my values are. And so we talked about how to do that and why to do that. We talked about the long-term vision and how important it is to have a long-term vision. Today, we're going to talk about a number of topics. Some of those topics are going to be diversification, and it may or may not be exactly what you're thinking. The second thing we're going to talk about today is mindfulness and gratitude. And the third thing we're going to talk about today is self-worth versus net worth. So those are the 3 topics that we're going to cover today. I don't know that I'm going to have the full time to get to generosity and also adaptability, but we're going to do our best, and we're going to try to get as far as we can to finish out and wrap out this series on what is a money mindset. All right. So how many of you that are in the crowd right now that are in the audience, that are watching on replay, if you've gotten something out of this money mindset, take a second and go ahead and type into the comments, what are the things that you have gotten out of this series so far? Just share with everybody. Make sure that everybody knows. It's important that we understand, again, that we share as a community and we work on this stuff together. Remember, learning takes place when you can apply the knowledge. So what are some things that you're applying in your life that you've learned from these money mindset presentations? Go ahead and share that in the comments right now. And while you do that, I am going to bring up this concept of diversification. So I want to talk about diversification, about all of your eggs in one basket. And what do I mean by that? And then the value of diversification. So here's what I mean by that. The money mindset, money requires focus. Focus. And what I mean by all of your eggs in one basket, there's a famous quote. I believe it was by Andrew Carnegie. I believe it was also in The One Thing, written by Gary Keller. And he said, put all your eggs in one basket and watch it like a hawk. It's so important that you when you're first starting to get your money right, that what you invest in is very intentional. It's specific. It's designed to get that one thing to grow, to have resource behind it, so that you're not scattered out in a million different directions. If you want to hit any level of success in this world, you cannot be double-minded. You have got to have one singular focus that you're trying to achieve. Once you achieve that singular focus, then it's important to be able to protect that nest egg. And so that's where the value of diversification comes in. All right. So I'm going to use an analogy real quick to help you guys better understand the concept of diversification, specifically in real estate investing. So I want you to picture kind of your favorite streaming device, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Hulu, maybe your favorite streaming device is Disney Plus. There's all these different places that you can now stream things that are important to you, or to watch specific kinds of movies or entertainment. Okay, so there's all these different platforms, and you have access to right now through these platforms to a wide variety of different shows and movies. You have action-packed thrillers, you have documentaries, you have heartwarming rom-coms, and then you also have thought-provoking and riveting dramas. So there's all these different types of movies that are available. All right, so in real estate investing, let's equate the action movie, right? Let's equate the action movie. What is the action movie? The action movie is equivalent to flipping homes. There's a lot of activity. It's very intense. And this is one avenue in real estate that you could be focused into, and that will help you to hit your real estate investing goals. It's one thing, though. It's very high intensity. It requires a lot of time commitment. That's the flipping venture. All right, maybe you're like maybe you're a documentary guy. Maybe you're a long-term buy and hold real estate investor, and that's okay too. With Red Maples, that's one of the things we do. We manage small multifamily real estate, and that small multifamily real estate investment is a buy and hold style property. It's like a documentary. Okay, you also have the concept of rom-coms. These are like vacation rental properties. They're fun, maybe profitable, they're kind of light. This is rom-coms. There's not a lot of intense work, but when there is, it's very intense. And then you have the concept like of commercial real estate, and that's like drama. That's like drama. Okay. So now we have the understanding. We have fix and flips, we have long-term investment, we have vacation rentals, and then we have commercial real estate. There's 4 different categories that you can invest in, that you can put your intention into when you're investing in real estate. Here's the problem. What happens if you're in Netflix and they eliminate the rom-coms and the documentaries? What happens? What's going to happen to your revenue? What's going to happen to your money? See, this is why it's so important to study your market, what's available, what type of thing can I put my intention into. We just happen to believe right now in St. Louis, it happens to be small multifamily real estate. But whatever it is for you, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your CPA, get it figured out. But whatever it is for you, let's say that we're in the Netflix market. What specific category are you going to pour your intention into? Now, let's say that you're working in the Netflix market and you lose your ability to invest in the documentary. You lose your ability to invest in the documentary. You might have to move to Hulu in order to get your documentaries. Let me ask you a question. Is it more expensive or less expensive to move from Netflix to Hulu to get your documentary? Or is it less expensive to to move to a different category, like maybe just start watching some dramas? Well, it depends on what you have the appetite for. Not to get all woo woo and to make this sound like some type of spiritual journey that you're on to make the decision, but there is some time for contemplation that you have to sit down and think this stuff out and plot this stuff out for yourself. Diversification means being intentional with the decisions that you're making to make sure that you're in the right vehicle and to make sure that you're in the right market. We don't want to be overly diversified. We want to pick one avenue, focus on that, grow our wealth around that, and then pick the next avenue or market to diversify in. Start with one. And so this is where so many people mess up diversification. They think that diversification means that they have got to, have all their eggs in all these different baskets, and it gets messed up. People get confused that's out there. Travis had this to say. He says, you have to understand money to be successful with it. Dennis had this to say. I review my finances weekly, and at first it was painful to look at, but now I got my spending under budget. So these are all important, impactful things when it comes to diversification, but specifically focusing with intention on what you want to achieve and control. All right, guys, I have got some more information to share with you today. I hope that that was good and impactful for you, but I really believe that this next concept of self-worth does not equal net worth is extremely important to you. This is probably out of the entire money mindset. If this isn't right, the rest of your finances, the rest of your self, the rest of your money mindset, your thought process is going to be messed up. And so I want to make sure that we get this right. This is so important that I've taken some time and I have some illustrations for you. So I need you to bear with me. I know oftentimes online you guys like to see the person or the personality up on the screen, but I need you to pay attention to what I'm about to share with you because this is essential. I want you to first consider yourself as a vast universe within the entire universe that we live in. I know I'm not getting woo woo or spiritual. I'm trying to get your mindset right. I want you to think about yourself as unlimited. We've talked about abundance. We've talked about value. We've talked about all this stuff, but I need you to see it in yourself. Think about yourself as ever expansive, whether it is or not. How I know it is that I know that within each person is seeds of greatness because I've seen that greatness at time to time shine through. Much like galaxies that swirl around with countless stars, each of us have inside of us light and darkness, and I'll prove it to you. We have moments of clarity, light, and we have clouds of doubt, darkness. And those two things determine how we see ourselves, whether we get clarity or whether we have clouds of doubt. Okay? And that ultimately determines to how we feel about ourselves. But just because you feel some way about yourself doesn't mean that you're not valuable or more valuable than you feel. Let me explain it to you. All right. So here we have a balancer. And over here, I'm going to draw, this is you. You're on this side. And over here, I want you to see things like social media, likes and shares, friends, strangers even. right? So there's all these things on the other side of the balance. And here's what we do as people. We constantly compare ourselves to these. We compare ourselves to what's the number of likes and shares that I got. We compare ourselves to how many friends do I have. We compare ourselves to who are we in relationships with. We compare ourselves to all these other people. And here's the challenge. The heavier these people are on you, the more valuable you actually are. The heavier those things weigh on you, the more valuable you actually are. Because inside of us, we have that infinite amount of value. We just have things that cloud our judgment. And let's say that we had a moment of clarity and all of this stuff goes away. All of these things, the stronger or the stranger, the friends, the social, all that stuff goes away. Guess what is still there? You are. You ultimately determine the comparison. It's not you comparing yourself to everybody else. It's everybody else in comparison to the value that you are as an individual. Don't mistake the value that you hold for how much money you have. One of the things I did a long time ago was I was working for this franchise organization, and we happened to do a really great job. So well so that the parent franchisor invited all the franchisees to a conference every single year. And one year we happened to win the President's Award. That means that we were the fastest growing franchise in hundreds of franchisees that were out there. We were the fastest growing one in the country. And I felt like I had a big part to do about that, but I wasn't invited to go with the CEO and owner to receive the President's Award. Now, in that moment, I felt worth less. But understood at that time enough that I needed to become selfless. Because the less I saw myself in that situation, the more valuable I actually realized that I was to helping them achieve that goal. So many times in this world, we put what other people do as the value of who we are, how much we get paid at work, what our spouse thinks about us, what our family, what our friends think about it. We put this value on their words, their intention. When we already have an infinite amount of value inside of us, it just has to come out. It just has to come out. And so when we can get that value to come out, that's when we start to see our pocketbook increase from the money mindset. But you can't be so focused on what others are paying you in order to determine how valuable you are. In fact, the less they're paying you, the more value that's actually inside of you that needs to be released. All right. So that's understanding your inherent value. Now let's talk about this concept for a second. In understanding your self-worth, it is so important that you see yourself as valuable because you have values. Maybe you don't have values. And maybe that's one of the reasons why you're struggling with self-worth. Maybe you don't have integrity or honesty. Maybe you don't have hard work or discipline. Maybe you don't have certain values or characteristics that you need to work on. But when you put these values in place, then those values give you the ability to have direction in your life because you hold true to your integrity. You hold true to your disciplines. You hold true to those things that you find valuable. I have so many people tell me, well, I value my family. And I ask them the question, then why are you broke? If you value your family, wouldn't you have enough resources to take care of them? Now, that might come across harsh. It's not my intention. My intention is to help you set your mindset correct. Sometimes I heard a pastor one time say, sometimes when things rub us the wrong way, they might be trying to get us to turn around and change direction. I'm not trying to rub anybody the wrong way today. I'm just trying to help you understand what mindset you need to have so that you can build these things into your life that you're trying to achieve. These aren't my goals. These aren't my growth plans. These aren't the things that I'm trying to do. These are the things you're trying to do. And so it's so important that we understand these values that actually are what make us valuable. All right. Next, I want you to think about some stepping stones. Let's pretend that we've got a path that we're trying to go from point A to point B. I'm going to write some words up here. I wrote the word failure over one stepping stone and the word mistake over another stepping stone. The question I have for you, is isn't the person who has this failure and it and they go along and they grow a little bit and then they make a mistake and maybe they grow a little bit more, maybe they face some rejection. Aren't they still moving towards the goal that they're trying to achieve if they have a plan, if they have some type of thing that they're aiming for, some type of end result that they're trying to achieve? Remember, put all your eggs in one basket. Watch that basket like a hawk. Grow that basket by not comparing yourself to others, by utilizing the values that you have as a person, and then working from failure through mistake, through rejection to continue to grow in that area and in that path to ultimately achieve the financial rewards that you're trying to clean up the finances in your life with. So that your mind, if your mindset's right about this stuff, the result is more abundance. The result is more of this in your life, not less. That's the focus. All right. Let me pop this screen back down here. All right. I got a couple more things to share with you because it's not just important to understand our path and to understand that it's okay to go from failure to success. John Maxwell just says you can't go from excuse to success, right? It's also important to understand the concept of growth and adaptability. Look, if I plant a seed in the ground and it's growing into a tall tree, it only needs to adjust its direction to lean towards the sunlight to get the growth. But so many people never get planted. So they lose value in themselves because they're spreading themselves too thin. Don't spread yourself too thin. Stay focused on the objective and the goal and the growth goal that you're trying to achieve. Travis had this to say. Travis said, by choosing to embrace and practice good values every day, you may not always get what you desire, but but will always be the person you desire to be. I love that, Travis. I'm going to throw that up on the screen so everybody can see that. It's so important that you work on the person that you want to be much more than the things you want to have. This determines our self-worth. This determines how valuable we are by the values we hold. All right. And so I want to help you with understanding that I when I tell people about my goal cards, I know that they make fun of me. I know that I've had people in the past that just they think that this is woo woo, it's hyperbole, it's not real, but it is real. I have index cards here, and there's lots of them. And there's affirmations on these cards. There's growth goals on these cards. There's all different kinds of stuff on these cards. Pull up the screen so that you guys can see. I have all different kinds of affirmations, goals, all kinds of stuff written on these cards that I want to instill in myself every single day to continue to add value to me. One of the quotes can be, I'm not defined by my mistakes, but by my growth. Doesn't that help to put your mindset in the right direction of your values so that you're not comparing yourself to others, but you can begin to see the value of yourself? So you might want to use the affirmation and write it on your card that you go through an affirmation every single day. I am not defined by my mistakes, but by my growth. And just like that tree that's growing, all you got to do is grow in a direction, and you'll be able to begin to see the success that you're trying to achieve inside of your life. All right. So we've covered a lot of different stuff today. We're at the 30-minute mark. I'm going to quickly go through mindfulness and gratitude with you guys. Um, but please understand that there's an even deeper training through the rest of this series that I'd love to be able to share with whoever you have in store for me to share this information with, whether you have a real estate conference or a group or a club that needs this money mindset. All I ask is that you put my name out there and share my name if you've gotten any value out of this at all. Maybe share the show, that kind of stuff. All right. Mindfulness and gratitude. Be mindful. Okay. Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate the directness of that. Be mindful. What does that even mean? Well, mindfulness is to be aware of your mindset. I tell the story of my daughter who, when she was in the womb, the birthing class instructor had me speak directly to her. And then once she was born and got a little older, she could begin to understand words and phrases. And we teach my daughter a series of different phrases. One of those phrases that we say to her is no crying, meaning she knows it means no whining, but no crying, sleep in your own bed till morning day, and be a good girl. If she hears those three words in that order, whose voice is she hearing? Of course, she's hearing mine. She needs to be mindful of what I've asked of her as a parent to do those three things: no crying, sleep in your own bed till morning day, and be a good girl. If she can do those things, that mindfulness will allow her to move in the direction of our family values. But I have to ask you the question, what do you value? What are you mindful of? What's in your brain that's allowing you to be able to achieve and grow and do the things that you want to do, that builds your self-worth, that helps you focus on the thing that you're trying to achieve? Practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. Point number 2. If you do not have a daily practice of gratitude, I highly recommend, I mean, highly recommend that you do it. One of the best ways to do it is to get yourself a composition notebook just like this. And in this journal, every day, write down 10 things that you're grateful for. At least start there. Start with the 10 things that you're grateful for. One of the practices that I have is on my daily walk, I just start with internal gratitude. I give thanks for my breath. I give thanks for my lungs. I give thanks for my heart for processing the air. I give thanks for my body. I give thanks for my arms. I give thanks for my hands, my brain. I give thanks for the grass. I give thanks for the trees that provide the oxygen that can rejuvenate the carbon and take in the carbon dioxide that and the poison that we spit out. I give thanks for everything. I give thanks for the area. I give thanks for the lake that I walk past. Every single aspect of your life that you can consider, you start from the premise of giving thanks. One of the things that you start to realize is that you live in a constant state of abundance. And so there's the famous quote from the Lion King, Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase. It means what? What does Hakuna Matata mean? It means no worries. But you got to have the right mindset to be in a place of equilibrium where there is no worries for the rest of your days. The mindset determines the philosophy, guys. The mindset determines the action. The mindset determines the outcome. You got to get the mind right to get the money right. That's why we call this the money mindset. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. I would appreciate and suggest that you take 1 second in the notes, and I'm going to invite you to share your own experiences related to your self-worth. If you wouldn't mind, discuss a moment where you truly felt that you had inherent value. When did you feel at your best? That's what you should share in the comments today. Share when you believe that you are at your absolute best. And with that said, I want to make sure that you guys who are real estate investors have this opportunity. Um, we do a rental portfolio analysis. And so if you like this information and you want to work with an organization that has a money mindset, you can always go to nathanbushmba.com/store-one. That's where you'll find the ability to purchase an analysis. Or if you're local to St. Louis, we do this for you absolutely free. Just reach out to me. There's a couple of questions that I walk through each and every week that you have to have in order to have this ability to have this conversation with us. First and foremost, you gotta understand and know some basic information about your portfolio. Number one, do you know the addresses of your property? Do you know the annual taxes, insurance costs, the principal and interest costs of your loan, the property management costs, HOA costs, maintenance expense costs? Do you know your insurance deductible? These are all things that you should know in order to have somebody do an assessment of your portfolio. And if it's us, I'd be happy to look at that. Do you know when you bought your property? Do you know how much you paid for it? Do you know what your all-in costs were? Do you know how much you could sell it for? Do you know what your loan balances are? And how many units do you have? Look, if you're an investor, you have a responsibility to know this information. Every single week, I meet with investors that don't have a clue about this stuff. I know, shocking, right? You need to know some basic information about your portfolio if you want us to do that comprehensive assessment. Pay close attention to your mindset. Do you have a money mindset now? Was this helpful? If this was helpful for you, again, share one of those places that you felt most valuable in the comments. All right. And who do you know that needs to hear this? Can you share this online? If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I highly recommend that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Reason being, one of the things is we're doing a pop-up event tomorrow at 9 a.m. We're going to be featuring and showcasing a number of real estate investor and speakers who are going to be speaking at the Gateway to Freedom conference coming up in November. Rich Groves and Josh Weschler were so kind as co-hosts of that event to have a conversation with me and set up a day for you, our audience here, to make sure that you are informed and educated about all of the different talent that's going to be available at the November and then some. Again, we're doing 3.5 hours tomorrow starting at 9 a.m. Don't miss that. It's going to be incredible. I also will tell you this. At this event tomorrow, we've got lending experts, we've got process and procedure experts, we have networking experts that are going to be there, we have coaching experts, we have fix and flip experts, we have BRRRR experts, we have, I mean, it's just jam-packed flipping experts, all kinds, wholesaling experts tomorrow. We have all kinds of information that they're going to share with you. So be prepared and come ready tomorrow at 9 a.m. to take notes. And then lastly, before we wrap up, in summary, let me ask this question of you. Do you have a money mindset? What are your action steps? What are your action steps? What are you going to do between this show and next show to make a shift in your money mindset? I know that some of the comments are coming in of when people felt most important. Tithing's a good way to get your money and mind right. Appreciate that, Dennis. Travis had this to say: when my wife looks at me and says, "I believe in you," that's when he feels at his absolute best. And so take that positive mindset with you. May this force be with you. In the words of Star Wars, may the force be with you. All right, guys, have a good money mindset. Have a good week. And we will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. for our showcase of the Gateway to Freedom. Appreciate you guys attending and being on the show today and being on the live cast. Thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon.